o'clock tarot news, or at least that's what I call it, because you get a whole bunch of stories and some tarot. It's kind of like weather forecasting, but for the bullshit. I'm the happy medium, and this is at Phoenix Rises. So, today's message. Today's message is me looking for my flock. So I don't always end up on scripture, but specifically today I ended up doing something to where a letter came for one of my patients, and it was Shepherd's Chapel, which is a church, a really good church actually. I've been to the place. It's very cool. It's a small, teeny tiny place. It's like Church of the Wilderness type bit. I liked it a lot. There's this little footprint there that's supposed to be the Lord's footprint when he walked across the earth, which I'm not gonna lie, being right there in front of it, it feels like some kind of way. It feels like something. But in this letter, it was a two-part message, and it was basically, when God tells you to speak, speak. It's not time for you to be disobedient. It's not time for you to be too tired. Like, honestly, kids, I'm too tired right now. I had a long day, and I just did not even want to. I don't even want to. But I do need to. I was told to. I was compelled to. I am obligated to. Because it's only by way of God that I get to do the other work that supports me. So I got to do my work. However, the reason it's a two-part message, it was literally speaking of Moses. Moses being told to speak to the people and tell them of the water coming from the rock, and instead he struck the rock, and because he didn't listen, later on he had to die for that. Disobedience, it doesn't always kill you, but the point is he was supposed to speak a certain thing, and he didn't speak that certain thing. He put himself between the people and the message. Well, honestly, Jesus did not need him to get the water out of the rock, right? He needed to explain. He wanted Moses to explain why, what was up. And Moses was all bitching like, must we always get them water? It's like saying, why do we always have to do it for them? Well, because they won't survive without you. What is a flock without their shepherd, and what is a shepherd without their flock? Like, there's a punishment for not wanting to look for your flock. There's a punishment for being a shepherd and not shepherding. So Ezekiel, therefore you shepherds, hear the word of the Lord, serving as a transition into God's judgment against the negligent leaders of Israel. So basically what it's saying is, you're called to command the corrupt leaders. You're called to go against them. You're called to, the leaders only care for themselves instead of protecting the people, right? And since that's really for real, we're living in the time of prophecy. I'm not saying pick up your Bible and hide, because I honestly have never read the whole Bible. The yous and these make it feel a bit like a spell book. But the truth, dude, you get a job in Chinese. Fuck you. The truth is, it was written down and then twisted up. And yes, it's twisted to serve different purposes, different agendas, different cult members. But the point is if you're a messenger of God, no matter how much you're mocked or ridiculed, no matter how much you're slandered, I mean, they killed him, what are they going to do to us, right? You can't tell the same lie for this long and then say it has no purpose or no meaning. That story just keeps going on to be going on. Rule and control, yes, but to manage your own life, God is a tool that we all need. The greater good. God is just the greater good. The thing that keeps little kids alive when they're playing in traffic and no one's watching them. The thing that spontaneously heals someone when there was no cure. The thing that keeps the lights on. The thing that just keeps the planets in alignment. Like, that's God. Our God's a living God. It's a vital force shared by all that keeps us all going round and round. It's what makes the ebb and flow come and go. If you're not connected to source in any way, then you probably have a nihilistic view of life. You probably have a fuck them, it's get them before they get me. I don't have to help anyone other than myself. You don't have to. But when you get there and it's judgment day as it is, and you're being judged by your works, you didn't put in any works. You put in complaints. You put in for time off. You bitched about the position you were given. You used it incorrectly, and then were mad when you lost it. If you're put in charge of other people, you have to do what you're being asked to do. If you're being spiritually called to do a job, don't try to explain yourself to people because they're not able to hear. That's the part of the 1,000 years of teaching. It shouldn't take 1,000 years. Some things are obvious. Some things are given, like, don't sleep with your friend's wife. Don't kill each other. Don't steal from each other. They became commandments because they're basic human decency that should be universal, and in some way they're just not. They're just not. However, God will send an army for you. You're not too lost to be found. You're not too lost to be called forward. You're not too lost to be sought after. You're worthy. You're just as worthy as the person next to you. And it doesn't have to be a spiritual thing. Human to human, you deserve to be here. There's a purpose and a function for you, and we all have a part to play. Even the one I'm purposely ignoring at this moment has their part to play. Interference will come, darts will come, distractions will come, naysayers will come. They really will try to crucify you. They'll really try to do anything and everything to you to shut you up, but there's no point in shutting you up because you can't bury the truth. That's how there's been a story going on for this long that has never been shut up about. It's going to continue. We cannot just keep the blinders on. We can't just choose not to see it, because choosing not to see it absolutely does not stop it from happening. So instead of being in denial, and instead of being in a victimhood mentality, why don't you get on board? Why don't you get with the program? And I'm not even saying repent. I'm saying check to see what part you're supposed to be playing. Are you the bad guy in this story to push the good guy into activating? Are you the good guy in this story that's supposed to defend the underdog? Like, who's your character? Pick your character. Everyone has a purpose and a function. If you're gonna be a bad guy, be the baddest bad guy you can be. Be good at what you're doing. If you have a position to fill it. If you have authority, use it for the greater good. We are all one giant organism, and it doesn't matter how much difference it looks like there is. It doesn't matter how much separation it looks like there is. It's like a forest of mushrooms. It's all one living, breathing, co-dependent organism. There is not our planet's not a square, it's a circle, so everything is encompassed in that one thing. Like, you set something off over here, and by the time we've spun around for the day, we're in that same spot that it started out today. There's no running from it. What you did over here is going to catch up to you over there. So treating people horrible and dismissing people and get it while it's there to get is not the solution. You got to let up off people. You got to self-assess. You got to, if you were the type who can carry more than yourself, even if you're burnt out right now, even if you're exhausted, even if you really cannot go another inch, you cannot support another human being whatsoever right now, then the most honest thing you can do is say, I can't take you with me right now. That's still being supportive. But if you have children and you want out of a relationship, or you have a job and you want to move, whatever, what have you, you have to make sure that you have your bases covered before you leave your post. Like, you can't just leave your post without anyone else on duty, right? And even in the change of guard, you have to make sure it's somebody reliable in your place. And it's very, very hard to expect someone to do what it is that you would do and care at the same level you would care about your stuff. So, as far as getting these messages out, like I said, I'm T-Rod, guys. I'm tired. If you're the messenger, give those messages. That's your job. If you're the enforcer, enforce. That's your job. It doesn't matter, this little whatever. I like to have open interaction. That's why this is a live stream. Otherwise, I would just record and post, and they could comment as you wanted. But since I see it's the haterade and the pestilence again in the same one person, good evening to you who's not drinking the Kool-Aid right now. I hate that we have to be interrupted by class clowns, but they need attention too. And part of what I'm saying about being a shepherd, a leader, a teacher, a speaker is having to learn, it's like crowd control, having to learn how to keep the ones who are trying to get that attention from distracting everybody else who's actually just trying to get the message. If you came here to be fed, if you came here to listen, if you came here to be entertained, you still don't want the other person trolling along like, I have nothing better to do except the hate. Well, that shit is poisoning you from the inside out. It's not good for you. It's not, and I've had plenty. To those who are ready to detox from the hate, that sun is just cooking it off. Just these solar flares are just burning that right on out of here. So, usually when I come on here and I do these messages, a lot of times I'm just talking about a personal element, like what is going on in my day-to-day. Y'all, tell me why today. My uncle's about to make it home this weekend. He's about to make it like the prodigal son returns, if you will. This mofo had a heart attack today. He's still alive. He called me after. It was like on the hospital bed. Talking about, sis, I might not be home by this weekend. I had a heart attack today. It circles back to what I've been saying all week, where I've been talking about heat exhaustion. And somebody kindly added some extra research about the humidity, and that the humidity was more damning than the heat itself, actually causing organ failure. And it really did. It really, he's had a triple bypass surgery, and he's had his chest like wired back together twice. So taking the nitroglycerin with the heart problems, and then being in direct sunlight, and then being in a road crew, over 55 years old, this man was like every element of getting ready to die. So he calls me from the hospital bed, and he's like, I'm worried, I don't think I'm going to make it home. And I was like, you're fine. Obviously, you're not going down anytime soon, and you deserve to die at home. Like, I know you've been bad. I know you've done wrong. But when your mother passed away, she left this house to you and your sister's already forfeited it, and for God's sakes, you deserve to die in your own bed, not out of state in a hospital bed. If it's the least I can do for him, it's the least I'll do for him. Because when my grandmother was on her deathbed, I promised her that I would look out for my mom and my uncle. They have a mind of a child. And the crazy thing is being an eyewitness to all the things that has gone on, I found, finally, the second snake. She appeared yesterday to my brother and just started airing out all her business and all her plans. And it turns out that I do not know how this is working, but somehow my uncle and my mother's name is now no longer on any piece of paperwork anywhere. It's only my grandmother's name. And you can't buy a house from a dead woman. So I don't know what their great plan was, but I know that two people are bankrupting themselves, trying to use two mentally ill people for their assets that were left to them to make sure they'd be taken care of when their parents were no more. I've done a lot of hospice work, and the things you see when people are dying is very, very disturbing. And I don't mean their sickness. I mean their relatives and the teeth that they grow when they think there's going to be something left for them. It turns into a rat race to see who can get what first. At this point, if my uncle were to die, the ones on his side would totally lose their hand in everything. The ones on my mom's side, if something were to happen to her, they would definitely be legally sued. She's a lot younger than he is and doesn't have the kind of medical conditions he does. He could have an accident, medically, heart not continue to work through this. Hers is a lot more mental illness, and there's really no way they could say that she just disappeared, which has been the headline. They've been pushing the she just disappeared into thin air for the last 2 to 3 weeks business. I still have those upcoming court dates. This is going to court. This is going to spiritual court. This is going to real court. These injustices, it's got to be sorted out. It's got to be finalized. It's got to be legally binding who's getting what and where they will be at. So, inheritance law is a mofo. And when you got this many people vested in doing the wrong thing, they've made a giant mess. The crazy thing is pretty much all the people who were involved in trying to be the scam themselves. All the people who were getting scammed were weirdly protected, and all of us are as innocent today as we were on the first day this started. I mean, there's nothing to prove. We have the proof, but there's nothing to prove. It's like some Hatfields and McCoy shit, only you never retaliated, so there's no way to get you on that. It's been a very disturbing summer. I'm glad it will be over. I'm glad I'll be going back to my classroom soon. I'm glad our kids will be going back to school soon, because they certainly don't need to see this shit. And when our kids go back to school, guys, we need to make like a concerted effort to clean shit up. To clean up what they see, what they're exposed to, what's going on around them in general. Like, they have so much access, it's terrifying. But just because they have that much access doesn't mean they have understanding. Having that much thrown on you all the time without the means to understand it leads to a lot of problems. Like 3 to 4 years ago when my grandmother passed away, they didn't know what to do, and so everyone trusted my younger sister to deal with it. Well, she was like 27 when this happened, and it's like a whole house landed on her. She basically lost her mom, her grandma, and then had all of the real estate stuff thrown on her, and she didn't even understand the vocabulary words for this stuff. So it was like they were attacking a child. They should have never put this on her. But my sister was raised over here, and I was raised with my dad, so they just felt like naturally it should be her. And I offered to help, and they thought I was trying to get something. I was like, no, the reason I'm offering to help is because there's a degree of separation between me and y'all and the stuff. So instead of feeling like so sentimental, I can't get rid of my grandma's stuff or rearrange the house or get some of the furniture out or do any of the stuff that would be required to clear a house out. It's not getting foreclosed on. It's just that there's a bunch of stuff they're not going to keep, and they don't know. If anybody wanted stuff, they could have it for sentimental value, but it's not like for sale. And so that stuff had to be dealt with, and I just let them do it. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't put any input in anything, and I stood back and I tried to let it work out. Cut to 3.5 years later, it's an absolute shit show, and it is far worse than it started. And now, as a last resort, they called me in, and that's usually how it works. That's what it is. When the sheep get away, when the flock runs astray, they don't come back on their own. You have to go get them. And they got so scattered out and so deep into it that I couldn't ignore it anymore. I had to go get them. I had to search them out and bring them back to the home, like get them back in their own home. And now I'm barely keeping one alive. He's in the hospital. The other one, she's in like legal protection so that more shit cannot occur while she's waiting for the last thing to get through. My brother is now a couple blocks across the street from me, where I literally can basically see him every day. I know he's not dead in a ditch somewhere. The one I'm really worried about is my little sister, because after the smear campaign they ran on her last month, they just utterly destroyed her effing life. And she's mad. She's real mad. And so the likelihood of her taking the real paperwork that has everybody's real name on it, all the real dates on it, and the original notary on it, she's more likely to burn that thing now. Not burn the house like my mom wants to. She's more likely to burn the deeds, the trust, all that, just so that nobody will ever know the truth at this point. Like, the history will be gone. She's so fed up. She's so done, and they have attacked her so intensely from the moment my grandmother passed away. The hardest moment in her life, it's like they waged war on her. And she did everything she could to try to be a sane, normal, responsible leader, like she's always been. But she got to be a safety net for everyone else and didn't have one herself. So when she finally called me and asked me for help, it was a big deal. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I didn't know what they had her involved in. And once push came to shove, there was nothing I could do to stop what was already happening, but I have done everything I can to keep the proof of exactly what happened, the order of events, the paperwork, the people's names on it. And honestly, again, it's like I was at a hidden vantage point, so that when all this came to light, I have record of every bit of it. I have proof of every bit of it. Me and my other brother, who weren't raised over here but have always been on duty as caregivers, know exactly what happened and know where the copies are. Our sister, though, this is not right. When all this comes to light, she's definitely going to be able to sue. And like I said, the ones who are doing it have basically bankrupted themselves doing it. So sometimes you're just the bait. Sometimes the reason the bad things are happening to you is because you're somebody else's test. If you have survived bad things and you see it happening to someone else, have courage. Have courage to try to reach back and help them in whatever way you can. That doesn't mean you can get right in the line of fire with them, but you can be a witness. You can be backup. You can be positive reinforcement. You can be the strength, the shoulder to lean on when things are getting hard. Don't run because it's hard. The older gentleman I was taking care of today, there was a point a couple years ago when his mom passed away, and his health declined so quick he ended up on oxygen, diagnosed with COPD. He's now got the paper skin issue, the instantaneous bruising from the meds. He's bad off. And I had enough of a falling out with him that I have every right to just walk off on him and be like, I don't care. This is what you deserve. Call your family. I worked for him for 10 years, and when he almost died and only I showed up, he was thankful. He was grateful. He's like, oh my God, hidden angel. Then his family comes in and starts suggesting things that definitely aren't true. Like, what if she did something to you? What if she put something in your water? What if shit was in your food? Blah, 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 blah. And in the panic and the chaos of trying to go, thinking he's dying, and then he could trust his family because that's who you want to lean on when that situation comes, he leans into them and then finds out that they're just trying to scam him out of property, trying to get him to sell his vehicle to him, trying to get him to sell his camper trailer to him, basically writing him off before he's dead because they want his stuff. And because I'm actually licensed and bonded to work with senior citizens as hospice care, I also have to keep daily reports of what goes on while I'm sitting, while I'm being a caregiver. And so conversations like, what are your bank numbers and how much did you pay for this and when are you getting rid of that? Those things really do get recorded. You need to know that you're not as hidden as you think you are. Not everybody is out to get you, and not everybody will just sit back and let it go on. Some of us watch in silence, track and report. And that way, if anything happens, you can't stop what's going on right in the moment. You may have to go through a few rounds of bullshit, but you need to keep track of the outcome of each one of those things so that you then have a history. And when you could show a history of certain things, you don't have as hard time trying to prove any truths or make any accusations or speculations. Like, the actual evidence speaks for itself. Numbers don't lie. And if someone's family member hasn't been around for the last 5 years and they've gotten sick in the last 3 months and now they're flocked by their family, there's something in that. Pay attention. Pay attention to the cousin who's wandering around the house and was like, well, he would want me to have his cufflinks. And pay attention to the brother who shows up and is just looking at pictures, but he's spending a lot of time around the desk of drawers and asking about old things y'all used to have and places you used to go and people you used to know. It's not that they're plotting on you. It's that unconsciously they're asking for your stuff, thinking that sentimentality says that you'd want them to have it. Anywho, that they would want you to have it, and that's not true, but they try to get whatever they can in the fallout. So like in the grief and in the sentimental moments, they'll show up and they'll make that relative feel wanted again, but it's only to like try to squeeze permission out of them for things that they wouldn't have given up. The relatives I'm still dealing with, they don't have anything to give up or permission to give. Like, it would be like taking something from a child. It's not right. So if you are a shepherd and you have a flock to protect, don't be scared by the wolves. You're the one there to protect them. You have protection. That's why you're their protection. That protection extends to your flock. Now, whether your flock is looking for you or not, as a good shepherd, you need to go find your flock. The flock can't find you. I am on here. I am sent to find you. You are sent to find me. Once that connection is made, you know you're good. You made it to home base. You're where you're supposed to be. This is your confirmation. Now, you may be a team leader yourself, because that's who we're finding right now. We're finding team captains who are going to be capable of leading whole groups after this, because they can't lead themselves. We need better influencers, better leaders, better teachers, better talkers, and less of this that's going on down here. We need better filters. People who have no experience with the human condition and have no experience with phases of life can't be the teacher. If you haven't lived it, you can't teach it. If you don't understand it, you can't be teaching it. Spiritual war is a mofo. It's an invisible battle, but it is provable. It's not like there's no proof whatsoever. It's just, you gotta take my word for it. That's what faith is. You gotta take word for it. It's belief. Your belief controls everything. Your belief actually is the dial on the channel. What you tune into, what you tune out. What you believe to be real is real. If you say, I cannot help myself, I can't work, I can't make money, I can't make friends, you're right, because you're not trying. If you say that I can make friends, I can work, I can do something about it, you're also right, because you're trying. Whatever you say is true. If you say you can't, that's going to be true. If you say you can, that's going to be true. You speak things into existence. You speak life and death into things. You need to get the spiritual word on you, like protection. It's like a sanitizer. It's like there's a lot of unseen energies, a lot of low level, low frequency energies that want to attach themselves to you and bring you down to their level. That way they can get a little sip of your light, like a Capri Sun. You can't always pay it no mind. Could be like in a tick on you, and a tick can freaking give you a disease, right? You don't want that, but there is a such thing as bug spray. So when you get the word over you, when you do spiritual practice, like spiritual hygiene, you practice your spiritual hygiene, you keep the germs off of you, you keep the parasites off of you, you keep the low-level demons at bay, and you basically just don't give them a way in. It's like drinking your orange juice and going out in the sunlight, just boosting your immune system. And so, same, whether you're reading scripture or getting positive reinforcement or motivation or whatever, that helps boost your immune system, helps boost your shield against darkness. You need to have the full armor of God on. That's head to toe. That's your sandals on, your shield on, your helmet on. You need to protect your mind and your heart, right? From, I say negativity, it's not just negativity, it's real attacks. It's trying to make you doubt yourself, it's trying to make you self-harm, it's trying to make you feel broke, it's trying to make you feel ugly and ashamed and dumb and all those things, and those are what I mean by fiery darts. That shit is imaginary. You'd have to believe it to attach it to yourself and internalize it and then feel it. A lot of narcissists project things, hateful things, with great conviction onto you, and you think that because of the volume or ferocity in which they're doing it, that there's really something to it. They're saying it with such conviction, it seems real, which makes you internalize it and start looking for a response, like explain yourself or change it or correct them. You don't need to do that. They're just projecting onto you. Humoring it by giving it an answer is like saying, I believe you. You can't. They're just making shit up. You can't believe things like that. There's such thing as bulletproof confidence, and there's such thing as being delusional, and people who are purposely hurtful to others are delusional about their own condition. People who find a way to get back upright and recalibrate after that shit are the ones who make good leaders. They're the ones who are able to stop and help someone else when they're overwhelmed, when they're angry, when they're lost or they're confused or they're grief stricken. Someone who's already done that and has learned to navigate their own emotions is very capable of staying anchored while someone else is emotional. Two emotional people is like a snake eating its own tail, like a blind leading the blind. You can't, to me, it's like cleaning with dirt. Matching energy is like cleaning with dirt. Sometimes you have to, just to show them that you will, like you're not a pushover. You're not a welcome mat. You're not a doormat. But other times it's like, man, I can't give that the time of day. We got other stuff to do. We were talking about something else. Moving on. Moving on. I am talking to those who want to hear me talk. To the ones who don't, please sit on your hands and listen or move on. But I have stuff to do, messages to get out, things to say, things to do, and people to see. If you're not doing that, then you're probably wasting time on this channel. And I have a limited time to do this. In the next 15 to 20 days, school will be back in, and we will all be quite busy. And these will have to be pre-filmed at night and then scheduled to be released at the time they're supposed to be released, because I'll have to do multiple videos and put them out as a series. Anyways, someone's anxious about their stability. There's an emperor involved. It could be a guy, a student, still school, like I said. It's going to be, some people are very anxious about having judgment called on them, about having the law laid down, about having the rules set, the boundaries laid. It's going to happen no matter what. It's not up to us anymore. It's like this. It's like we lost free will. Okay, at first, we had free will. We had the choice to do right or wrong. And then we made that choice. And now it's judgment day, and everyone's being called out on the right or the wrong that they did. If you did good, you don't have anything to worry about. What did I say? Judgment and the tower. Because there are people who work together to destroy other people, who are not just slanderous, the kind where organizations work together to keep injustice alive. There's certain words I'm not going to use because I don't need them coming from my head today. But when I say our legal system has its flaws, our health care system has its flaws, our family services have flaws. But what I mean by losing free will is we weren't using it right, so it was taken away, and now we have to do what we're supposed to do. We have to do what we were supposed to do. Like, it's not up to us. We don't control the weather. We don't control the year. We don't control the time of day. And although we would like to, too much has happened here. This is a borrowed existence. We are literally borrowing right now from our children in the future. It's only ours temporarily. It's not like you can take the house or the land that you're standing on with you, right? It's not like you can, yeah, okay, see that falling down, the tower, because there's a judgment on the judgment's being called on the old way. And this literally is a cult and a coven. I say the old way, but that's like dark magic. Well, that's over. We are about to relearn what it means to reunite with spirit. Spirit. And we want that. That's what I said. You want to get in union with God. You want to have that secret relationship with God. That's what helps fill your cup up. You know why so many of us have an empty hole in us? No matter what, like capitalism will never fill it up. Dating will never fill it up. Food will never fill it up. There's a little hole left in you on purpose so that you will look for the thing that goes in that hole, and the thing that goes in that hole is God. That's God's seat. Stop giving it away. That is literally like the all spark that makes your heart beat, that makes your brain be alive. That is a God spark. That is your essence. That's what activates your soul, your spirit. You shouldn't just be an empty vessel dragging yourself across the earth. Like, there should be something inside. There should be a conscious voice, like a narrator that's guiding you through the day. I don't know, I've asked this before. It's really your conscience. It's your own conscience. But if you don't have a narrator inside, double checking, is that right or that not right? It's actually called cogent thought, to where you can, okay, this is a weird example, but this is what I mean. Your thoughts can think about their thoughts. So say you see an attractive female and you look at her and you think, wow, she's very attractive. And then your second thought is, oh my gosh, I hope she's an adult. That thought of your other thought is cogent thought. That's you being able to self-check yourself. That's like checks and balances. It's you checking to see if your first response is correct or if you should look deeper. The ability to do that is having a conscience. Your conscience comes from source. Your conscience is your compass, if you will. And so instead of feeling lost all the time without direction and without function, we can all get back on track and things will unfold the way they're supposed to, because nature is unfolding as it should. The plan has never changed. The blueprint is still the original blueprint. And we've gotten very, very off track because of outside influences. Lies, propaganda, being sold out, just whatever. We're being tortured, and taken from. We will stop doing that, because there's plenty enough to go around. It's like a trick. We're all being tricked that there's just not enough. We're all being told there isn't any for you, but there is. There's plenty to go around. There's enough for everyone's need, not enough for everyone's greed. And we seem to be confused on what a need is versus what a want is. Lots of choices. We have lots of choices. You're king of your own castle. You're in charge of your own destiny, if you will, but you're not, because you have a purpose, because you have a function. And no matter how much you bump up against God's framework for you, you will be redirected back to where you were supposed to be, back to your lane, back to you're an integral part of a machine. And when you're out of alignment, the machine is not working very well. When the machine works really well, we all have an easier time. It's not a strain to just be human being. You're just being. It should not take as much work as it takes to live right now. And we are stuck in survival. We are not living at all. We're not progressing. We're not developing. We're just stuck on a hamster wheel, going round and round and round and round, trying to fill up this hole. That hole is left there for spirit. Like I said, leave room for nature. Leave room for God. Do you want to be in charge of everything and everyone all the time? Do you want to be responsible for everything? Or would you like to outsource that responsibility to a higher power? And then trust it. You actually have to build trust with God. Like, okay, you started this job and it started being funky and you're harassed by your coworkers and you're really feeling like you should leave and your family's missing you at home and everything inside you is telling you to leave that job. But your brain keeps saying, what about the bill? What about the bill? What about the bill? The nagging feeling in your gut and everything else going on to try to force that spirit talking to you, saying, follow your own instincts, follow your heart, follow your gut, go home. That redirection is for your protection. Something is going to go wrong at that job. It's either not going to last long, it's going to be audited, it's going to change hands, you're going to get your rate of pay dropped. It's going to be something that makes it worse on you. And so for your protection, You're pushed out of that job. A lot of the times when that's happening, it doesn't feel like being protected. It feels like being punished. You're not being punished. You're being redirected back to your spot. Lots of people have wanted to do things like, say a great writer wanted to be a singer, and no matter how much they sang, they never got a contract. Anything they write down almost becomes a Hallmark card because that's their gift, that's their purpose. We're all getting not tested, but forced back into where our gifts were meant for. We're getting put in the positions that we're meant to be in because that's where we're needed most. If you're really, really good at something, even if you don't like doing it, that's the skill we need. You're kind of bound to the gift you were given. You can't just bury it and hide it from the world. See that? That's a, I don't know if you can tell. See how she got one on her head and she's holding on to that one? Just hanging on to it. You're being kind of selfish with your gifts. People need you out here to show them the way. This is about leadership. People need you to be so unapologetically yourself and trust in what you're doing and what you're being called to do that no amount of, honestly, see that happiness? See that happiness? Because that leads you home. This little group here, the community will heal, not just one individual. With everyone holding back, there is no happiness in our community. What there is a comparison all the time. You seem happier than me. I seem happier than you. And honestly, comparison is the thief of joy. Looking over at someone else's whatever and thinking that should be mine, I should have that covetous, envious, jealous mindset is wrong. It's blocking you from getting where you're supposed to be. That's their path and not your path because they've already, the doors have opened for them to do that. That's where they're supposed to be. Yes, some people get jobs based on who they know. A lot of times that happens, but they know those people because that's where they're supposed to be. It's on them. You are protected, my loves, even when you sleep. However, you need to extend your protection to others. You need to pray for people. Let me scratch that. Hold space for people who need to be doing better. We're all at different parts in our journey, and you don't have to throw God on anyone or religion or anything like that to wish for better for people. Even if you cannot go do something about it yourself, having a more positive mindset that there will be a solution, an answer will come, it will be okay. That's going to take us to the new spot. We're all having a shared experience right now, and we're all feeling very negative. And the more negative we feel, the more negative the experience gets. So we're going to have to actively be positive. We're going to have to be proactive about our problems instead of crying over spilled milk, because sitting in the puddle isn't going to stop the flood. All right, we got to do something else. And since things have gotten really, really out of hand, we've got a lot of lost sheep now. And so it's time to go collect the people and tell them it will be okay. You're safe. You're going to be safe. This is going to end. The light has already won. Don't worry. Walk by faith, not by sight. It looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. It just, some stuff has to come down before we can rebuild the new stuff better. And we don't completely know what's wrong yet. So it has to fall apart for us to see what is wrong and then fix it. And then it'll take a lot of work to do it again. So you're going to have courage in the face of adversity. You're going to have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and reach down for that last 10% when you've already used all 110% that you have. I've got to go. It's dinner time. We're 40 minutes deep. I've got the messages out the best that I can. If you're a leader, don't bitch about being a leader. If you're a follower, listen to your leader because they mean well. If you don't trust who you're following, you sure as hell shouldn't be following them. Trust yourself more than that. I love you, friends. Until next time, stay cooled down. I'm serious about that heat and that humidity. It's not worth losing your life for. Please go in and take a break. It is okay to stop. I love you, friends.